This song is sung by June, who's still in space and is kind of taking a little bit of a backseat on the story as all of this other stuff is playing out. So now we're back to June up in space. Everybody in space in the exile position, which June was in exile along with Shiny, their spacecraft has a television that's continually on. They can mute the sound, but they can't turn the television off. So June's totally aware of what's happening. Shiny's virtual personality, which she left behind in her treasure chest, which Osira and Nighthawk found and implanted into the robot Ruby. So, and how does June know what's happening down on Earth? Because she sees the reverse propaganda put out on the network that she's forced to watch daily, which is a propagandist arm of the World Administration, related, of course, to the X and I, who's in charge of all this stuff. And she sees those forces backspinning against Shiny's message, at least Shiny's pure message put out on social media. So she sees them backspinning, and she knows that a domino has fallen, and the opportunity to retrieve the real Shiny from space is now very real. So NEOPHYTE is not only her reaction to being proven right yet again, and her sense of destiny as it relates to Shiny being confirmed, but she makes a tremendous and incredible decision where she decides, in a peak of optimism or insanity, to use the same word, she decides herself to take the march of life, and she punches in their code and her spacecraft breaks orbit. But ask yourself why she's doing it. If you knew that someone you loved was trapped in a burning building and you were on the street, does it make sense to run into the burning building? Okay, well, she's running into the burning building. She knows Shiny is whirling towards his death. And so in a moment of pure emotional rationalization, she would rather be near than far. And there's one more step to this particular moment in the story, which of course no one can anticipate, including June. All the other ships that are in exile, let's say there are 4,000 or 6,000. Let's just say there's a lot of ships up there. They're all watching the same television program. So they're aware that something is happening on Earth as it relates to one of their fellow exiles. They, in a sort of a moment of rare and earnest rebellion, decide to follow June, and they all punch in the march of life. So all the ships start moving.
What would the X and I do to respond to that type of action?
This is why I love you. You're dead on. Because now, in organic moment, a woman's love for a man, however crazy that is, has inspired her to do something completely irrational. And in her irrationality, she inspired a whole host of other people who are up there in totally different circumstances for different reasons to say, you know what, I'm with her in this. I'm not going to sit here and take this anymore. In essence, we're all going to do the most irrational thing. When people talk about governmental control, we must all remember when you do the thing that doesn't make any sense, but you do it at the right moment, that's the thing that breaks the dam wide open. What June does is she creates an energy to inspire others to do something that's completely irrational. Why would you all decide to take the march of life simultaneously? Well, we shouldn't be up here in the first place. We're only up here because everybody on Earth has sort of agreed to it. Now we're going to create a dynamic where this must be dealt with, an irrational act. But it's inspired by an organic act. It's not like anybody sat there and drew this up on a piece of paper. It just happened, like a domino falls and a domino falls, and the next thing you know. So when we look at the irrationality of governmental control, we have to remember, and I'm speaking as an American here, and we all sit there sometimes around the coffee table and we go, can you believe this? Can you believe that? Did you see this meme? Doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. Sometimes we have to remember that by sitting at our coffee table, instead of protesting or logging off or refusing to sign the terms of service on a particular service that we know is spying on all our data, that's our consent decree. And when we collectively stop agreeing, there's no force in the world that can stop that. And that's why some of the social movements of recent times really do have a point. You reach a point where you say, enough is enough. Recent tours, I believe in this song.